Hi, I'm Ross Rapoport with RoadflyTV. Thanks for watching this episode of RoadflyTV. For the past few days, I've been posing as a typical yuppie in this, the 2012 Honda Pilot. True to Honda custom, this large three-row SUV has undergone some significant revisions after 3 years in production. And there are small changes everywhere you look, starting with the exterior. There's a new grille and bumper design that's actually softer than what we saw on the 2011 Pilot, and new 18-inch wheels wrapped in 235/60 R18 rubber from Michelin. Inside, there's a new layout for the center console and some improved functions for the satellite navigation and audio systems. This moves the Pilot up a couple notches on the luxury scale, and from the driver's seat, our touring model nearly feels like something from Honda's own luxury division. The Pilot is a large-ish SUV, and as such, there's a lot of little things to talk about. So let's start out back. Our touring model has the power tailgate, allowing for easy access to the cargo area. So the Pilot is a bit of a tweener, meaning that it's larger than a midsize SUV, but smaller than a conventional full-sizer like, let's say, a Chevy Tahoe. The downside is just 18 cubic feet of cargo space behind the third row of seats. Now, when you fold the seats down, space goes up to 48 feet. So most of you probably know by now that I'm a bit on the vertically challenged side, at 5 foot 7 inches on my best day. But I have long legs with a 31-inch inseam, and when you're in a third row of seats, legroom is the name of the game. Luckily, the Pilot has 32 inches of legroom, making this third row of seats perfectly serviceable for full-size adults on short trips, and great for kids, or me, on longer journeys. The second row is even more accommodating, with 38.5 inches of legroom. There's also, as in most Hondas, a flat load floor, making it even more roomy than the numbers would suggest, especially if you happen to be sitting here in the middle seat. And there's a ton of stuff back here to sweeten the deal, like independent climate control. You guys know how big storage is for me, and there's a ton of it in this row. There's also an optional rear seat DVD entertainment system. And that brings me to the first row. The captain's chair of the Pilot is a very commanding place to be. And if you have kids, for starters, you're really going to appreciate the mirrored lid for the sunglass holder, so you can keep an eye on any shenanigans that are happening in the back. And what I really love most is the storage. It feels like Honda engineered the inside of this Pilot just for me. The doors, for example, we've got a solid handle up top, and then 2 separate tiers of pockets on each door. On the passenger side, we've got these 3 handy-sized cubbies for wallets and cell phones just above the completely inadequate glove box, considering the owner's manual is like biblical proportions. As with any Honda product, there's no V8 engine available, so your only choice is a single overhead cam 3.5-liter V6 that pumps out 250 horsepower at 5,700 RPM and 253 pound-feet of torque at 4,800 RPM. Considering that our Pilot weighs just over 4,600 pounds, that motor pulls it along with ease. EPA ratings for this car are 16 miles per gallon in the city and 22 on the highway, which is a slight increase over the 2011 Pilot. The Pilot's on-road manners are excellent. It's still surprising that a 4,600-pound sport utility can hustle around like this. Its lockable VTM4 four-wheel drive system will keep you planted on rainy days like today, and it can actually tow 4,500 pounds. That falls far short of, let's say, a traditional ladder frame SUV or pickup truck, but it's more than adequate for most people's needs, and I think it's worth the trade considering how well this car does on pavement, which is where most of them will spend their time. There's so much more to say about the Pilot, but I only have so much time. I thoroughly enjoy a vehicle that can do everything so well. And if you're one of those people who says, I'll never buy a minivan, and I certainly am, this just might be your 8-person family hauler. So I tested the touring model, which is the top of the line and not cheap at just over $41,000. But there are plenty of lower trim levels for the Pilot, and they all promise to meet almost any challenge a modern family can throw at them while maintaining excellent reliability and resale value. This is my first experience with a Pilot, but I fully understand its popularity now. I'm Ross Rapoport. Thanks very much for watching this episode of RoadflyTV. You can find more pictures and a downloadable window sticker for the Pilot at RoadflyTV.com. Please comment on this video and join our community by subscribing to our YouTube channel. You can also find me on Facebook, and I'd love to hear from you.